Good evening and welcome to CCWH Chapel this evening. We'll begin with our prayer for peace.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their hearts and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
Well, good evening, and I guess, let's see. We're going to get to the speaker here. This evening, my name is Reverend Mary Huber. I am the pastor of the Community Chapel of Holistic Healing, and we are here this evening to enjoy a wonderful talk by Reverend Carolyn Carter. I will introduce her shortly after we have our reading of our what we call three healers. So it's faith, hope, and charity affirmations. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection that is my physical embodiment, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, needs, and opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. The hope affirmation. Acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity, I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. And the charity affirmation. In understanding faith and knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth, to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. This evening, may I ask our engineer if there's a picture of the speaker on your screen?
I don't have a picture. I do have a picture of Carolyn's video screen. Yes. She's not on yours.
But I'm not sure what's recording, so I just wanted to check with you. I have it on the speaker mode. So
it's individual. I have mine on gallery, so I'm seeing everyone's video screen,
right.
Including Carolyn.
Oh, I just wanted to be sure Carolyn was going to be seen when she needs to be seen. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Reverend Carolyn Carter is a old friend of ours at CCWH. We knew each other for a very long time ago, but when she left and did her travels and over the country, she also studied and became a unity minister. And for quite a few decades, she was the senior minister in Fredericksburg, Virginia, at the Unity there. Currently, she is in St. Louis, I believe, and she is
Kansas City.
Okay, there you go. And she's doing the prayer ministry there for them. And we're delighted because she has such great knowledge of her topic. It's the 12 powers. And she's going to explain that and lead us then into a meditation regarding that. So I'm going to turn this over to Reverend Carter.
Reverend Mary, thank you very much for that introduction. And I appreciate the opportunity of being invited back to speak a second time. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure to share the teachings that I'm going to be giving tonight, because these come from the co-founder of the Unity Movement, who is Charles Fillmore. He made a unique contribution to Christian theology by intuiting these 12 powers and allowing us to understand how they fit into our spiritual journey and our spiritual growth. So I'm excited about them. I know the powers certainly are something that I use on a daily basis in my prayer work in the prayer ministry, and I use them in my personal life. So I'm going to start. The topic tonight is power, and I want to just ask, what do you think of when I say that word, power? You know, for some of you, it might be the kind of electricity or natural gas that fuels the heating and the air conditioning in your home, or the electricity that runs everything we need these days, including all of our technology. Power might also, and right now, and what's going on in our world, it might mean the power of the military and the might that missiles and bombs have to take control of people. It might also mean powerful people, powerful leaders, whether it's for good or for ill, whether it's people who lead countries or large corporations or ministries or whatever. You might think of power as coming from an individual and their leadership capacity. Could mean heavy equipment that moves Earth around so that you can get something like a Hoover Dam created. And recently we had the Artemis 2 shuttle space flight. You might think of the power that it took to get those rockets off the ground and then to get the team from Artemis 2 back home. Power is an inherent part of your life as a human being. Power is needed for everything that we do. And just getting out of bed in the morning requires power. It requires physical power in your body to get up. It requires mental power that you know where you are and what's happening. Emotional power to engage in the day instead of falling back into bed and saying, oh, I don't want to look at today at all. So power is an inherent part of our lives. And I recently heard a reference to power that I thought was really important. It kind of stuck with me. And that's, maybe you've heard this too. It's the tagline for Bank of America. And they have a commercial that asks this fundamental question: what would you like the power to do? Now, of course, they're using that in the means of saying, how can we make loans to you so that you can finance your dreams and desires? You know, what is it you want to do in your life so that we can help you with that? And it nonetheless is an interesting question. Like, what is it I would like to do? What is the power that I need in order to do what I want to do? What do I feel I lack that keeps me from accomplishing the various goals I have, my mission, my vision? And where can I get more power if I feel I'm lacking it? Well, over the course of my studies, I've told you, I discovered Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, and his concept, his idea that we each have been given 12 spiritual powers or faculties. He used those word faculties until you have opened to the power. It's just an innate, inherent faculty within you. They're innately present in every human being. They are our divine inheritance. Now, we don't have to ask for them. They don't come from an outside source. They are given to us as an innate birthright as a human being. And they're always available to us. They do require that we activate them. And when we activate them and use them, we know our oneness with God, this creative source of all that is. And one of the best explanations that I have ever seen, best introductions to the 12 powers, comes from a book called Divine Audacity. Divine Audacity. It's written by Reverend Linda Martella Whitsitt, who was at one point for a number of years the director of Silent Unity. The title of her first book was called How to Pray Without Talking to God. So you can see she's got this idea that prayer and connecting with God isn't about seeing God as a person outside or a being outside of yourself. And the powers relate to that. We are inherent with these powers. And so she wrote in her book, Divine Audacity, something that I feel will set the stage for understanding these powers. And this is what she wrote. Christian metaphysical teacher and founder of the Unity Movement, Charles Fillmore, approached the Bible as a spiritual story about our evolution from personal or finite being to divine or infinite being. Each character in the Bible represents an aspect of our own evolving being. Accordingly, Fillmore studied and meditated upon the significance of Jesus's 12 disciples to understand what they meant for us. Fillmore concluded that each of Jesus's disciples embodied a characteristic, a principle, a power, a faculty that well served Jesus's ministry. And so true to his approach was Fillmore's interpretation of Jesus Christ as our spiritual nature, our divine identity or an infinite being, and therefore each of the disciples represented our spiritual abilities that we can call into service of our mission to be the light of the world. So she saw these 12 powers, Fillmore saw the 12 powers as our way of being able to turn on the light within us. And just as Jesus called his 12 disciples after his baptism and after he had temptations in the wilderness, he called those disciples to support him to begin his ministry. And we too have these 12 powers to support us on our journey in discovering and expressing the Christ consciousness. And so, what are these powers? I'm going to name them: faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, will, understanding, order, zeal, elimination, and life. Quite a lineup, isn't it? What I think would be best to do is just take a moment to look at each one of these individually and how they fit into our lives. The very first power that we begin with is the power of faith. What is faith? Faith is the power of perception, conviction, and expectancy. I'll say that again. Faith is the power of perception, conviction, and expectancy. It is the ability to believe, to intuit, and to perceive. Faith is that deep inner knowing that everything that you are seeking in life is already yours for the claiming of it. Faith is what draws blessings to us and good from what's the invisible out into the visible form in our life. Faith is that divine gift that we use to perceive the truth in any situation or circumstance. Faith is not the same as hope. Now, we need hope. Hope is what gets us started. But when hope turns into faith, that is when it is a decisive yes. Now, hope is kind of like a tentative maybe, but faith is yes. And we demonstrate faith when we know something is true, even when the conditions around us appear to make it otherwise. An example of that might be, I know that I am innately whole and well, even if I'm experiencing a sickness of some kind, and I have faith that I can regain my health and well-being. And faith is, CCWH demonstrates faith when we affirm, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, my needs, and my opportunities. Faith works best when it has a partner, and so its partner is strength. Now, strength is the power of stability, courage, and tenacity. It's what keeps you keeping on. It's the ability to endure, to stay the course, to persevere in the potential of difficulties, to keep on keeping on no matter what is occurring for you and for your life. Strength is the capacity to accomplish all things you need to do using that energy that comes from the creative power we call God. Strength keeps you from making compromises And it helps you to keep going. It helps you to not to say, oh, I'll settle for this. Strength is what helps you move on, to keep on, to really accomplish what's yours to do. We demonstrate strength when we continue to pursue our goals in spite of the obstacles, and as long as we know that what we are pursuing is really for our highest and greatest interest and for our highest and greatest good and in our best interests. We demonstrate strength when we express courage, patience, steadfastness, balance, and tolerance, especially tolerance with those with whom we may disagree. The third power is wisdom. And wisdom is the power of judgment, discernment, and intuition. Again, wisdom is the power of judgment, discernment, and intuition. It's the ability to discern, to evaluate, to apply what you know, and to make decisions, to make sound, wise choices and sound decisions. That's using the power of wisdom. Wisdom is the capability to evaluate and to choose. The judging or discerning part of wisdom comes from determining what is right for you, not for anybody else, for we're all on our own unique path. And that discerning what's right for me gives me the ability to say, no, that's not what I need to do or where I need to be or how I need to think. But it's okay that you think that way. You may need to feel that way. Wisdom is this power of discerning only for yourself. For judging others is a misuse of the power, and judging for yourself is the correct use of it. And wisdom is also known as intuition. You just intuitively know what's right. So we demonstrate wisdom when we listen to and receive divine guidance, and then we follow that guidance by taking right action. And like faith needing a buddy of strength, wisdom needs another power, a buddy. And that power that is the buddy to wisdom is love. Love and wisdom belong together. Love is the power of magnetism, harmony, and unity. Again, love is the power of magnetism, harmony, and unity. It is the ability to attract, to magnetize, to unify, and to desire. I love to do something. I desire that. I love so-and-so. I attract that person to me. Love is the great harmonizer and healer of this world. It is the great magnetizer and attracting power. And we know that forgiveness is one aspect, one expression of love, and another expression of love is compassion. We demonstrate love when we choose to unconditionally see the good in each person we interact with, no matter how they may be showing up in every moment. And that certainly can challenge us. Can we love them? Can we see the perfection that is in them, even if they aren't demonstrating it? Love is what you do when you see that in someone else. The fifth power is a faculty of power itself. And the power of power is the power of concentration, self-mastery, and authority over self. It's the power of concentration, self-mastery, and authority over oneself. It is the ability to master and to have dominion and control. Now, most of us think of power as power over somebody else. And I'm going to have power over you rather than me. And this power is not about that kind of power. We're not looking to control other people. We are looking to control ourselves. And very specifically, we're looking to control our ego and the demands that our ego makes that pull us away from the consciousness of knowing who we are, beloved divine creations that have the capacity of expressing that Christ consciousness. Power is the ability to have authority over our own thoughts and feelings. Now, it is important that we feel our feelings, but not wallow in them. It's important that we have our thoughts, even if they are angry or fearful thoughts, because they will move away from us once we have felt them. They move through us. And the power of power is the power that lets you be able to have those thoughts and feelings and to change them. Where we demonstrate power when we change our thoughts and feelings so that we can build new consciousness and we can transform the energy of one level to another level. We can raise that level of energy to a higher vibration, to the expression of peace and then maybe joy and happiness. So this is power over ourselves. And it needs a buddy too, and that's imagination. And the imagination is the power of conception, vision, and embodiment. Again, imagination is the power of conception, vision, and embodiment. It's the ability to image, to picture, to conceptualize, to envision, and to dream. You know, there's a wonderful short phrase in the book of Proverbs that says, where there is no vision, the people will perish. We need to have vision at all times, and that vision comes from the power of imagination. And we always have a vision. It's just whether or not the vision uplifts us, or whether it's a vision of, oh, I'm so tired, or I feel so victimized, or any of those negative expressions. Imagination is the power to give shape and form to unformed mental image energy. You take that mental energy that's unformed and you envision it, you image it into with the power of imagination. You hold a vision that looks beyond the appearances of the moment. And with imagination, we lay hold of ideas and put substance to them. It's sort of like you start out with a frame or a form or a skeleton, and you put substance, meat, flesh into that through imagination. Imagination is the ability to perceive the limitless possibilities for your life. It is the projector of your potential. Now, we demonstrate imagination when we clearly hold the image of what we would like to see, have, do, or experience. And always, we leave open the door to something even greater than what we can perceive. For the mind of God may have something far greater for us, and we let imagination take us there. The seventh power is the power of understanding. That's different from wisdom, and I'll explain that in a minute. The power of understanding is the power of comprehension, of realization, and insight. The power of comprehension, realization, and insight. The ability to know, to perceive, to comprehend, and apprehend. Understanding is the ability to know that this power we call God stands under all things as principle. And understanding gives the ability to know how to accomplish what we need to do, because it is through this principle, this highest principle, whatever it might be, in whatever form we're seeking. Understanding gives us that expression of the highest principle, the highest truth, spiritual understanding. So wisdom is sort of like the what. You get wisdom brings to you through intuition an understanding of what is happening, and understanding gives you the how to use it and how you can apply it. Wisdom is the knowing of the great light of pure. It's the knowing that great light of pure knowing, and understanding is knowing the why of wisdom. It seeks the relationship between all parts of our universe and of life. And so we demonstrate understanding when we release our limited human point of view, and we seek the underlying eternal principles in every situation. And again, an example is of health and wholeness. We know that these bodies were intended to heal themselves. And so when we are sick, we go to that spiritual principle, the highest form of understanding how we can heal our bodies. Understanding's buddy is will. And will is the power of choice, commitment, and readiness. It is the ability to choose, to decide, to command, to lead, and determine. Will is the ability to allow, to choose, and to direct where our energy and our attention is going to go, and what we will have and what we will not have in our life, what we will accept to our life and what we will not accept to our life, we say no to. Will is the great permission giver to your consciousness. And the power of will can be used for willingness, or it can be used for willfulness. Will is simply the power. How we choose to use it is up to us. We can willingly go with the flow of divine order, or we can willingly or willfully say, no, I don't want that. The choice is always up to us. And we demonstrate this highest form of will when we choose what is for our greatest good, and then we actually follow through. And we take action that matches the choice that we've made and say, I use my power of will to clean up my diet and eat healthier food. And then each day I have to demonstrate that I continue to use my power of will to make that choice. The ninth power is order, and that is the power of organization, adjustment, and evolution. The power of organization, adjustment, and evolution. It's the ability to organize, balance, sequence, and adjust. And so divine order is that ability to develop consciousness in proper sequence. Mind, body, and affairs. You start with a thought in the mind, you turn it into physical form, and bring it out into manifestation in the world. Charles Fillmore wrote, "Order is the first law of the universe. Indeed, there could be no universe until its various parts were kept in perfect order." We demonstrate divine order when we let go of our human need to be in charge and to say, my way, not thy way. We let the presence of spirit lead us and teach us about order from the very highest dimension, the highest perspective. Divine order in us restores that which is out of balance and out of sequence. The 10th power is zeal, also known as enthusiasm, for it is the power of enthusiasm, audacity, and devotion. The power of enthusiasm, audacity, and devotion. It's the ability to be enthusiastic, to be joyful, to be passionate, to start something new, to motivate. I live in Kansas City, and we are one of the host cities here for the FIFA World Cup soccer. I tell you, there's a lot of zeal going on in this city right now. Every night on the local news, they broadcast from Union Station, and there are fans galore. It is amazing to see the zeal happening. So zeal's the affirmative impulse of existence. Its command is to go forth with enthusiasm. It is needed for spiritual progress. You don't make spiritual progress without this zeal, and it results in joy and enthusiasm. When you have zeal, you have this joy, you have this passion, you have this embracing, exciting embracement. It generates spiritual motivation for consciousness development. And it's our ability to move forward in developing that awareness and loving it at the same time, even in the midst of some of the messy stuff that happens when we're on our spiritual journey. I don't know about you. I have messy stuff in my spiritual journey, and I need that power of zeal to move forward. We demonstrate zeal whenever we act with joy and enthusiasm. Okay, number 11. We're almost there. We're next to the last one. Elimination. It's the power of cleansing, renunciation, and repentance. Again, the power of cleansing, renunciation, and repentance. It's the ability to release. It's the ability to remove from our lives. It's the ability to denounce something and deny it. This does not have power over me. To let go. So renunciation or elimination is letting go of all existing thoughts in order to have new thoughts that may find its place in your consciousness. It's our ability to say, have a no response when we know something to be untrue and undesirable. And elimination helps us eliminate errors in our thoughts, errors in our actions, and expand the blessings of our life. We just demonstrate elimination when we release the past, we let go, we clean out our house, we let go of the clothes in the closet we haven't worn in I don't know how long. We forgive ourselves or we forgive our others. That's an example of elimination. We let go of old thoughts, old behaviors, and old beliefs. Anything that no longer serves us is part of that process of elimination. The final power is the power of life. Now, life is the power of animation, vitality, and presence. The power of animation, vitality, and presence. It's the ability to energize, to visualize, to enliven, to animate, and to invigorate. Life is what heals us. Life is the ability to mend, to restore, and to draw upon this powerful presence we call God for all of life's functions. It's the energy that propels us into all forms of action. The spiritual principle of life is indestructible. It continually renews and it heals the human body. We demonstrate life by giving our attention to life-affirming ideas and a true understanding of who we really are. We are beloved creations of an infinite creative force that we call God, and wholeness and life is health and wholeness. It's the natural expression of the power of life in us. So those are the 12 powers. Brenda, may I get you to put up the slide that shows these powers? And note that these powers are associated with different parts of the human body. Charles Fillmore intuited that the different powers, like life is associated with the sexual organs and the regenerative power, and elimination is associated with the elimination system, the digestive system, and the ability to eliminate from our life, and so on. I won't go through all of those locations. There's been so much literature written about these 12 powers. They certainly, you can find this anywhere. And if you want to take a moment, maybe even if this interests you enough, take a picture of that with your phone, if you would. Now we'll leave it up. So it's important in unity to have this experience. Knowledge of principles is not sufficient. We must live the principles we know. So how do we activate these principles? That's the first question on our mind. With faith, we activate faith by being receptive to trusting and believing. With strength, we are non-resistant and we're open to the flow of life and good. With wisdom, we have to unlearn what the intellect has told us and open ourselves and use intuition. Love, we activate the power of love by beholding God in everything and feel compassion for all people and all situations. With power, we develop self-control. With imagination, we hold tightly to the vision that we have. With understanding, we seek light and illumination, the oneness with spirit, and know that spirit has all of the answers that we need. With will, it's learning to be graceful and to be willing and not willful. With order, it's learning divine law, learning about divine law so that we transcend human order and understand divine order. Zeal, by generating energy and feeling joy. And elimination, by allowing ourselves to surrender and to just let go of what no longer is needed in our lives. And lastly, life, it's to recognize and raise your energy and life force. So I've mentioned that I'm no longer doing church, but I'm still doing ministry. I am part of Unity, the prayer ministry known as Silent Unity. And we use these prayers, we use these powers in prayers. When someone calls on the phone and asks for a prayer, my first thought is, what power is either missing, broken, or not working fully? An example of this is someone might call for a healing. They're having problems with health and well-being, and they'll call and say, I just feel terrible today. I'm sick. I don't feel well, and I'd like prayers for healing. I will use affirmations, affirmative prayers about the power of life in them and the power of strength. So I might say, I am filled with the healing, strengthening power of life. I am filled with the healing, strengthening power of life. You see how that prayer request, I then look to the powers and say, what's missing? Life, strength. People will call for greater harmony in their family. There's fighting going on. And so I turn to, in harmony, I would turn to wisdom and love. In the light of any friction or tension, you call upon the power of divine wisdom to guide you. And you use the power of divine love to surround everyone with love, knowing that that allows you to move forward into love and peace, harmony and acceptance, patience and understanding. That would be my prayer. The power, we get a lot of calls for prosperity. We probably get the most calls for healing, but secondly, prosperity. How would I pray with prosperity? I would use the power of divine order. We are always in divine order, being given opportunities to have our financial needs met, to have our needs of life met. And we use also the power of wisdom to recognize those opportunities and to know how to use the opportunity coming to us. Divine order presents the opportunity. Divine wisdom shows us how to use it so we can have financial flow sufficient to meet our needs. Occasionally we get a call for somebody who's saying either they have problems with addiction or someone in the family has problems with addiction. And I would immediately call upon the power of release, that I let go what no longer serves me. I willingly release anything and everything that no longer serves me. And I use the power of will. I willingly choose the greatest good for me based upon my spiritual understanding. So this is how you use the powers, at least in my thinking, that you can look at whatever the challenge is in your life and know that there's a corresponding power or a series of powers that will truly fulfill and resolve the need. Now, Unity literature abounds with information on the 12 powers, and books have been written, classes and workshops have been created to describe the powers and then to give you practical examples of how to use them. Unity churches have developed services and ceremonies and rituals. One of the favorite services within the Unity movement in churches is the 12 Powers candlelighting service, where you have 12 candles lit that each have the color of the power that they represent, and you do a meditation with the congregation to allow people to decide which power might be serving them best at this time. And then they light the candle, and they can keep the candle as a way of knowing what power they're working with. The powers have been associated with color, with a disciple of Jesus, and a location in the body. So this presentation tonight was just to introduce you to the concept of the powers. It's not to give you a comprehensive listing of everything that's possible, because that's just enormous amount of material. You know, we've just scratched the surface, but it certainly is a beginning, a good beginning. And so I come back to that question that I started with, which is Bank of America's, what would you like the power to do? What is that power that is speaking to you, one or more of them tonight? That will be part of our meditation. And I leave you with the thought, that the idea that we are not helpless victims. Circumstances of our lives are not there to have us give in to them. We are there to overcome them. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we certainly control how we respond to those circumstances. And using these 12 powers, figuring out what's missing, what's broken, what's not up to par, makes the difference of how we move through the experience. It is my opinion that humanity's collective task right now is to demonstrate our divinity, to demonstrate the consciousness of the Christ. And when these spiritual powers are activated and working with us, we have the potential to express and experience this consciousness of the Christ. These powers are in our spiritual toolkit to help us with this profound and awesome task of knowing our divinity. We're going to move to meditation now, and I'd like to explain. So Brenda, we can move. Yes, thank you. I'd like to explain what I'm going to use, because it's a little different probably than what you're used to. Unity has a 5-step prayer process that I'm going to use it as our meditation. And those steps are: first, relaxation; second, concentration; third, meditation; fourth is silence, in which we receive a realization of what we have been meditating on; and then thanksgiving. So I invite everybody to begin this process by allowing ourselves to become quiet and settled. Whatever you might need to do to get comfortable in your chair. I know you've been sitting for half an hour, so you might need to wiggle a little bit and get comfortable. And as we find that comfortable position in our bodies, if it's appropriate for you, if you like to, close your eyes and then take a deep breath, a slow, deep breath in, and a long, deep breath out. Let your shoulders soften. Let your body soften, your whole body. Let your mind become settled and your emotions become quiet as your body becomes still. Let your awareness drop into the center of your being. And as you do that, imagine a quiet light, steady, firm, and alive. This light holds these 12 spiritual faculties, spiritual capacities, each one awakening as you breathe in and breathe out. So we look at this power of faith. And as you inhale, feel that deep inner knowing that's arising within you. a sense that you're guided, supported, and connected to all that is. Let faith become a soft glow behind your eyes. Trust the unseen goodness that is unfolding in your life. Now move to the power of strength. Sense a deep root growing from your spine into the earth, grounding you. Feel your spine lengthen and let that grounded steadiness fill your body. You are capable. You are resilient. You are able to endure, for you are steady and unshakable with strength. We honor the power of wisdom. We invite you to bring your attention to that quiet voice that is within. Insight begins to form. Clear, calm, and trustworthy. You let wisdom guide your next step so you see with clarity and you choose with discernment. We awaken the power of love by placing our awareness in our heart and feel that warm glow that is in your heart center, radiating compassion to yourself and all beings. As that warmth expands, it's gentle, compassionate, and embracing. Love flows freely without condition, and you let love radiate through every part of you now. We turn to the power of power. Visualize a gentle but strong vibration in your throat, for your words carry truth, kindness, and creative force. Sense your voice, your presence, and your ability to speak this truth. Your words carry clarity, and your energy carries intention. We now look to the power of imagination. See a field of possibilities opening before you. Images rise effortlessly, hopeful, creative, and expansive. Let imagination paint your future, for you are free to envision the life your soul longs for with imagination. Understanding now comes to mind. We sense a soft light in the forehead, illuminating connections and meaning, where we comprehend the deeper patterns of life. As you feel your mind soften and widen, any confusion dissolves. Understanding settles in like a puzzle piece clicking into place. We now choose the power of will, which is your ability to make good choices. We align our choices with divine purpose, moving forward with intention. Your will aligns us with what is highest and most true, and we move forward with the intention of making those choices willingly. We now embrace order. We feel the harmony that is forming in our thoughts. Our lives arrange themselves now with clarity and purpose. Everything finds its right place, for our lives align with divine timing and balance. And knowing that all things are ordered, we now have a spark of joyful energy that lights up within ourselves, bright, enthusiastic, and alive, for this is the power of zeal. Energy rises to meet our goals. Zeal fuels our forward motion, and we greet each moment with enthusiasm and vitality. We move on with the enthusiasm helping us to embrace elimination or release. With each breath that we breathe out, we release what no longer serves our highest good. Old patterns fall away and we create space for renewal. We are light, free, and open to new blessings as we embrace elimination. And finally, we embrace the power of life. We invite you to feel that life vitality flowing through your entire being, a vibrant current of vitality, renewal, creativity, and joy. You are vitally, fully alive, whole, and well. You are alive and radiant and connected to the eternal source. Embracing each one of these powers now, we allow ourselves to rest more fully and more deeply in the awareness of presence. We give ourselves over to time within the silence, which is the presence of God, for a realization of these powers in our lives. In quiet communion and connection with the divine, we discover these powers. We learn how to activate them and use them. So in this moment, now imagine all 12 of these powers glowing together. 12 facets of one radiant light that is within you. Breathe into this wholeness. Let it fill your mind, your heart, your body, and all that is. And knowing these powers are available, we give thanks for a greater understanding and a greater expression of the sacred 12 powers which live in us. And as you are ready, I invite you to gently bring your awareness to this present moment, gently return to this moment, centered, renewed, and empowered in every way, letting the powers now come forth in you. And I'm going to assume that everyone is back since I can't see most of you. Brenda, would you move the slide to the very last one that I spoke of? This is a meditation for the 12 powers using short 1-sentence affirmations. It's a 5-minute reset. And if this topic has touched you tonight, you certainly could, again, take a picture with your phone of these powers. And each one of these powers, these statements, activate that power. I trust the unseen good for faith. I'm grounded and steady for strength. I see clearly and choose well for wisdom. I radiate compassion for love. My words create with kindness for power. I envision infinite possibilities for imagination. I grasp life's deeper meaning with understanding. I choose in harmony with spirit for will. My life flows in perfect rhythm for order. I greet life with joyful energy for zeal. I release, I let go of what no longer serves me. And I am vibrant and connected to source for life. These are simple, quick statements that you can make each and every day to bring forth these powers in a more active sense. And my final thought for you is that I went through the 3 healers, the faith, hope, and charity affirmations that Reverend Lusan channeled so many years ago and we have used for decades. And I found some of the powers in there. And so I just want to point out some of them. This is my interpretation. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself is one of the most powerful statements you can state. So that to me is the power of power. As a perfect image of the divine creator, that's got to be order, the perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection, that is my physical embodiment. My physical embodiment is addressing life. I have faith, bingo, in the supreme guidance, that's wisdom, of my soul for my balance, my needs, and my opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images. That's imagination and order together. And nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. That's strength and will. I love it how these powers are in these affirmations. For hope, acknowledging my faith. There's another power in the omnipresence of my divinity. I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. That whole statement is power. And then charity. In understanding, there's the power. In understanding faith and in knowing hope, I pledge my actions, again, the power of will, my desires, the power of zeal, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of earth to honor, to love, the power of love, and to enlighten, the power of wisdom and understanding, all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged, imagination, back to my creator. So help me God. That is zeal and will. So right there, every time you say these, you are using some of those powers. It has been my deepest privilege to present this information. I hope it has touched you in some way. And Brenda, I now return the screen to, I invite you to return the screen to our faces. And Mary, I ask you to continue with our service.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carolyn. That was beautiful and a treasure for us to keep in our mind and to review, because we will have that to look at again if we have forgotten any of this. You can go to our website at ccwh.com and you will find this evening service there, along with others from the past. You might enjoy some of the other topics that we have. We also have some classes, some podcasts, and some other inspirational material there, along with this calendar. So you will also find a way to support us. You can go to the PayPal button there and contribute something if you can to support our organization's future work and future of the organization. We'd appreciate it so much. So in anticipation of your donation, I would like to say prayer. Father, Mother God, you are the giver of every good and perfect gift. Give us grateful hearts that we may share freely with others all you have given us. Amen. And now we will end with our traditional hands joined in a circle. You can use your imagination. We will be there joining hands and singing along with our particular version of the Let There Be Peace on Earth.